Welcome everyone to Sonic Tonic. This is Darren Kramer. Happy to have you here. Gonna ease into this session with a nice little D minor vamp. We're gonna be talking about why the bass is the most important instrument in a band, and also why the main ingredient in your drink is kind of the most important. The tonic of the day I decided would be a Manhattan. So go ahead and make yourself one at home. It's 2 parts bourbon, 1 part sweet vermouth, maybe some bitters, maybe some cherry juice. Gonna be here just till about 5:30 or so. Have some fun stuff to show you. In case you're wondering, what is a sonic tonic? Good to see you guys again. Here every Friday and Saturday at 5 o'clock. Saturday is Sonic Tonic, and Friday is the Funky Friday, where I play live electric trombone DJ set. Yesterday I had my sister on as my first guest artist. She plays trumpet, and that's who you've been listening to. And you thought, what does that have to do with bass? I started thinking about how that tune that we're playing here is called Endless Tears, and I'm big on thinking about how the bass can do something new for the music. And if you're a bass player, I think Brian Knott, it might be out there listening. Good to see you, man. You know very well that you have a lot of power as a bass player, and the reason is because it has many functions of the main elements of music. So I thought I'd pull this up. I haven't done this yet. I kind of put this 10-point checklist together, and sorry if it's a little small there. I didn't have time to resize that. But basically, you know, music is about emotion, music is about creativity and the sound that you make. And then if you look it up on the dictionary, you'll see that a lot of times, what are the 3 main elements of music? And it's rhythm, harmony, and melody. And the bass has 2 of those 3 he's in charge of. So I'm going to show you some of that stuff today, and maybe it opens up your mind and your ear to how to listen to music a little deeper. And that's what Sonic Tonic's all about. So once again, our tonic of the day is Manhattan, and that's been my dad's favorite drink for years, and so I just made us one, and I got a little cherry in there too. So if you're trying to compare music with food or drink, I think there's a lot of similarities, and that's why I'm presenting Sonic Tonic. And so the main ingredient in a Manhattan is bourbon. So what's interesting is if you don't like bourbon, you probably won't like a Manhattan. Same deal as if you don't like tequila or grapefruit, you won't like a Paloma. If you don't like hops, bitter hops, you're not going to like an IPA. So, but if you do like those things, you're almost guaranteed to enjoy it. So, with bourbon, my point kind of was, in a Manhattan, if the main ingredient and the main flavor is bourbon, so if that's the case, you should probably spend your money there and buy a really nice bourbon. And what does that mean? It's always subjective to taste, but something that's probably around 30 to 60 bucks. Because a lot of times money does equate value, because it takes longer to make it, a little more care, less production, more quality. So it's something to think about. So when you're thinking about music, it's like, man, the bass really is important. So let's jump into that and see what the deal is. I'm going to give this one more try and see if this video will play. And it doesn't look like it's going to. So I use OBS to kind of put all these different scenes together that you see on Facebook. And it's been having some trouble with some of my videos, so I'm not sure why that is exactly. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to just play it out of... Here's me back. Welcome. Anyway, I'm always serious on the Sonic Tonics. Go grab yourself a beverage, even if it's water or tea or coffee or some sort of juice blended drink. We did that a couple weeks ago. Anything to enjoy yourself on a Saturday afternoon. Okay, so I'm going to pull up Ableton. Live is the program I use to play my music and produce music. And so we're listening to my sister Dawn, and let's listen past that. Let's listen farther in and go, what is the bass doing? Like especially like right in here. Down there on a low D, and he's just staying on a D. He's just there. Basically one note. And now he's going to change. So, when a bass player is staying on the same note, it's called a pedal tone. So when I'm a band leader and I'm just going, if I feel like we need to break some things up a little bit, I might tell the bass player, hey man, just do a pedal, do a D pedal. That means play a D only, and all the changes still happen above it. So that's a really cool sound. Listen to the piano here now, the keyboard. And listen how the chords are kind of playing some different stuff, but the bass is just staying on a D. There, I just changed chords. But the bass is just staying on a D. What does that look like? With chord symbols, it looks like that. D minor. Oh, sorry, that's not the one. We want the pedal. It's this. Here's G minor over D, A7 over D. Now it goes into a different area. So we don't want to get too complicated with Sonic Tonic, but my point is that creates a vibe. It makes you feel something. It creates an emotion, like it's mysterious. Doesn't mean all pedal tones are mysterious. It kind of means it creates tension. It's just hanging on this foundation, and then these things are happening, in the other part of the house. And things are moving around, but the foundation is still staying there steady. So now in this song, as a composer, I think about this stuff. So that's why I'm sharing it with you, is maybe you can kind of notice that in your favorite songs, whether it's the Eagles, whether it's Rachmaninoff, whether it's Garth Brooks, it doesn't matter. If you go, man, this part is really like intense and it's getting crazy and I don't understand why the tension is, listen to the bass. See if the bass is actually doing a pedal tone. So there he's just hanging out. Here's another example now later in the song. For my trombone solo, I thought I want to do something different. I love that pedal, and I'm going to do that to start out. But then when we go into the groove, I'm going to let the bass just play the real chords. D minor, G minor, and A7, which are these. So at first, I'm going to go ahead and have you look at this. This is basically what's happening in the trombone solo, which is right here. So he's just staying on D. And now he does this. Check it out. He switched notes. A, D, G, A, D. And then you go, wait, but now the bass sounds different. Yeah, so remember I said earlier when we're talking about this music checklist, look at this. Emotion, creativity, sound, those are the first things that kind of music does to you. And if you don't think so, try to watch a movie with the sound turned off. But then the rhythm is huge. So what's the rhythm in a pedal tone like this? It's basically he's just playing whole notes, full value. Boo, be-doo, real long. Then all of a sudden when this happens, you notice he went different. So he starts playing sixteenths. Boo-dup, boo-doo-dup, boo-dup, boo-doo-dup. So he did the rhythmic change, but he also did the harmonic change. So instead of just on D's, he goes D to G to A. So let's listen to that again. So we're on, just hanging out on a D. This is really powerful. When you're like, I like this part of the song because it's grooving. What does that mean? It means this. Now, all of a sudden, G, A. Yeah. He's just grooving. So that's way different than this intro to these solos. That's why it's moving along. Yeah. None of that happens by accident. A lot of times, you know, if you're a singer-songwriter and you're thinking, man, I got to think of all this. No, you got to hire a great bass player, and there's a lot of them in Colorado. I mean, literally, like probably 12, 15 world-class bass players. So you could hand them a recording that you've noodled around on home, and they'll figure out what to play, or better yet, give them a lead sheet where it has the chords like you saw, like these, like you actually have D minor, G, and then you might explain it. At the beginning of the song, I want it to be kind of free and kind of mysterious and melancholy. To a bass player, he'll go, oh yeah, I'm going to play a pedal. And then when she goes, now, when I sing the verse, can you make it more energetic? You know, what is the term? It's more rhythmic. Can you be more rhythmic? And then he'll go, oh yeah, so she probably wants me to play eighth notes or some kind of grooving line. And that's what a bass player does. So he just goes into automatic pilot and starts to do what he does, you know. So the third thing that happens that's super cool that I love as a composer, and what bass players do on their own sometimes to add intensity and a little bit of change, like our beverage. If you're just joining us, go grab a beverage. This is the Manhattan. I even put the round little ice cube in there. And I used some sweet vermouth that has botanicals in it. So that's not normal. So I taste little bits of highlights in there, which is very interesting. But the core, what's the base? What's the base of a Manhattan? Bourbon whiskey. So that's what we're talking about today. So a bass player plays harmonically and rhythmically. Drums, they're only playing rhythmically. Trumpet, they're only playing melodically and harmonically, right? A lot of times they're the melody. So is there rhythms in the melody? Of course there is. But what's this strong driving thing? The drums are playing rhythm, but the bass is playing rhythm, but they have a big influence over the harmony from what notes they play. I could still be playing a D minor chord here, but if they play a D down here, that's the root, normal. If they play an A, now it's D minor over A, and that has a different sound. So it's really a cool concept. So this thing that I'm going to show you now is this harmony, reharm. If they play a different note, look at this one. So now it's G minor over C. And here's the sound of that. This is one of my favorite parts of this song, and a lot of thought went into it. And I think I first heard this vibe kind of with David Sanborn on a tune called Straight to the Heart, a live album with Marcus Miller as the bass player. If you don't know Marcus Miller, go Google him, listen to him tonight. He is awesome. He's played with everybody, but big time with David Sanborn, Miles Davis, and all kinds of R&B artists. So here's what different bass notes sound like. So now I'm playing my vocoder. Notice the bass. He's doing his pedal, right? Now here's where it changes. Now instead of to G, it goes to C. C sharp, D. Here it is again. C, C sharp, D. So, you guys hear that? It's kind of, can be subtle. And you're going, man, this is a boring sonic tonic. See you later. I can accept that. But I'll blame it on myself. The bass is super cool and it's super powerful. It has this chance to like kind of redefine how music is going. So one more time, I think this is worth listening to. So here's on staying on D. Here we go. Way back to that first example. He's just on D. Chords are changing against D. Okay, here's where he's actually changing. Listen to the rhythm. That's way different. Okay, and then the last one where he's actually changing the bass notes to change the quality of the chord. It's gonna go down. C, C sharp. The chords on top are all the same. Listen to this sound. That sus is kind of the bomb. And there's 4 rounds of that, and then you want something to change, right? So now the chords change. And now listen to my vocoder playing the bass. Harmony matters. And now all of a sudden, not D minor anymore, F major. Yeah, again, if you don't understand the theory, it doesn't matter. How does this make you feel? And all I'm trying to highlight is when you love a song, there's reasons for it. And it's kind of neat to notice those so that you can notice those in other areas, like soundtracks. When your friend takes you to the orchestra concert and you're going, I don't want to go to that. You can listen all around the orchestra while everyone's playing and just focus on certain things. It's super cool. I saw Daryl Abrahamson. Awesome, man. Great trumpet player. Plays with Chris Daniels. Is there. Julie's having an IBC root beer. Good choice. And we noticed the other day, you put ice in the root beer. It makes it colder, but it also kind of waters it down. That's a different flavor. So now my Manhattan is a little bit watered down too. So that tastes different. And sometimes music's watered down. And it means less to me when it is. I like the hardcore thing. What does that mean? Really thoughtful, great players, and great music that has a lot of thought put behind it. So it's kind of crafted, you know. What else we got going on here? Augusto, welcome. Please share with your friends if you're liking this topic. These take me about, anywhere from 3 to 6 hours to produce, to get the content together, to put the stuff in here. Unfortunately, that video didn't play, but I always have all kinds of fun things to share with you. Please go to my YouTube channel. I'm only like 15 people away from my first 1,000 subscribers. Go to YouTube, be one of those 15 and help me get over 1,000. That would be awesome. So let's move on and listen to some really kind of typical funk bass and how that really affects how you feel. Let's see if that one plays. Doesn't look like it's going to want to. There it is. It is playing. Do you guys see how interesting it is to see the music go by, too? There's just slashes and he makes up his own thing. But he's going nuts there. Super rhythmic, right? Now listen how different this is. The bass is now playing whole notes here. listen how different that same song is. No trumpets, no horns, and then it's just synth bass. Go, listen to that. Synth bass there. Yeah. So that's a lot of high energy music, right? That's called Turbulent Altercation, song I wrote many years ago, 25 years ago. And but that bass player is Nicky Orta. I went to school with him in Miami, and he is just great. And so I gave him this kind of general chart of hit these specific notes, but in this other thing, just do your groove thing. But you notice later in that example, you heard then the bass player just goes to this mellow B, D, D, whole notes. That's way different than boo, chaka, 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 and it affects the way the music is. So if you like high energy stuff, one of the reasons is the bass is way more active than, say, a ballad. However, even in the ballad that we just heard, he's just on a pedal tone, chilling out. He's just like, yeah, man, I'm having my Manhattan. And then he has to set that down and go, oh, wait, but we're on the verse now. So I want booed up, boo-dooed up, more rhythmic, right? There's space between the notes, more articulation. He's digging in more with his fingers on the bass. I see Brian Knott, he's drinking Breckenridge Port Cask Bourbon. Awesome. He's like, no mixing allowed. That's true. When you have really high quality spirits, just drink it straight. Tequila, you know, as Americans, we're all kind of had that shoved that Cuervo thing down our throats, literally. And then you associate that's what tequila is. It's not. Expand your horizons. We did Latin rhythms last week, and I was drinking Cabo Wabo Reposado. And, you know, there's so many great tequilas for sipping, just for the flavor. That's it. So bourbon is awesome, and Breckenridge bourbon is a great one too. So you guys have questions? Yeah, Brian says Marcus Miller. Every bass player loves Marcus Miller, and he has a very specific sound. You might find it interesting that on this song right here that I've been using bass samples. And this is Marcus Miller sampled that I played on a keyboard. Actually, that right there, I think is Abe Laborio. No, John Patitucci. There. I went into the Marcus. That slapping. You want to hear how the bass affects it? Hey. What's the bass doing? He's doing that muted thing. He's kind of pressing his fingers on the strings so that they don't ring. Listen to it. So he's kind of busy, but it's softer and a different timbre. Bass. Yeah. One really interesting thing is tempos for bass. That really affects how they play. Um, I have a tune called Obi-Wan Kenobi, super fast, kind of James Brown type funk groove, mostly in the key of G7. And this doesn't have a bass player. This has Pat Bianchi, great B3 organ player that lived here for many years, and now he's in New York making it big. Um, he's playing left-hand bass on the B3 organ, so there's no bass player. There's no one holding a bass guitar. It's him playing it. Listen to this. Krista Rowe, good to see you back here. Awesome. Hear the bass? Bow. So, if you haven't paid attention to the bass with songs of your favorite artists, check it out. You know, like bass on Fleetwood Mac. It's just kind of down the pike. It's, you know, rock. It's just sort of soft rock. So he's not going to do anything too wacky, but he does all these little tasty things in there. But if you listen to stuff more like, how about Van Halen, Devil, what's it called? Running with the Devil. He's going bop, 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 bop. It's kind of distorted. And then running with the devil, boom, boom, boom. If the bass was going boo, but it'd be a way different song. This is more like 4 on the floor, just quarter notes, bop, bop, bop. There's a whole lot of different things that go on with the bass player, and they're in control of kind of how you feel about the song. And they can at any point change the rhythm or change the harmony by playing different notes than what they would normally play. And for jazz, I'm a jazz musician. It's so cool because you can be playing Take the A Train, boom, boom, and he's just walking, boom, 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 boom. Then he might lay out, and it's a completely different sound. Then when he comes in, he might come in on the bridge, but only use a pedal tone. And as we learned, pedal tone is one note held for a number of bars. And a lot of time it's for, you know, a while. So maybe eight measures. You guys have questions, hit me up. Gary Lindsay, my arranging instructor from University of Miami. Awesome. Thanks for being here. Krista says, is this the same concept at the bass in jazz ensemble? Yeah, totally. So whether you're playing the big upright bass or you're playing an acoustic bass or a synth bass, they still have that same role as the foundation of music. And then here is kind of the meat of the band, maybe drums, keyboards, some horns, guitar. And then up here at the top of the house is usually a vocalist with lyrics, which is another element of music that is kind of huge in most genres, right? Let me show that to you again, our checklist. You can download this, by the way, on DKO Lessons, and think about that, you know? Put that on your fridge, man. Geek out with the rest of us. Move it up a notch and, you know, enjoy the finer things of music. I'm going to sign off here pretty soon. If you guys enjoy this kind of thing, please take a couple seconds and just shoot me a couple of bucks so I can make this happen every week. As you know, none of us are playing gigs. I've been doing my Funky Friday. My next one is this Friday, May 15th. And if you missed some of the older ones, you can always just scroll down my wall on Facebook and watch some of them. There's been some really nice moments, great people showing up, asking lots of cool questions. And anyway, this has been a lot of fun. Catherine, good to see you again here. And yeah, all you who have supported me through this interesting transition, Really appreciate it. And I hope you guys find happiness and some sort of new opportunity through this whole situation with having to stay home and sit still. And I think Sonic Tonic can be a big part of that and kind of help you move forward in a different way. I'm going to go ahead and, what should I play for you on the way out? Let's do a little of this DKO DKO Latin suite. This is a salsa thing, and listen to the bass here. We spoke about it a little bit last week. It's called the tumbao, is the rhythm they play. Instead of just quarter notes and this sort of straight thing like rock does and country does, jazz is kind of going do 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 do, walking bass. In salsa, they do a rhythm called the tumbao, so they're hitting on beat 4 and beat and of 2. So it's in these cracks, it's in the middle, and that's why it sounds different. Everything's playing all the subdivision around it, but then you're just hearing parts of the bass is hitting between the beats. So here's this, he's playing a pedal, right? He's pedaling out. He's on one note. It's building tension. It's going to release. Boom, 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 boom. Focus on the bass. Thanks for being here. See you next time.